Hi, I'm Eric Self, Little Walter Tube Amps, littlewaltertubeamps.com. We're here in beautiful Bowling Green, Kentucky today, and we're going to go in and visit with American Aquarium and the steel player, Whit Wright. They've got some fantastic new material that I'm very excited to hear about. They're just finishing up sound check. Let's roll on in and visit with Whit. So we're here today to discuss the 89, the Little Walter 89, and was just kind of curious about some of the things that, well, just describe for us how you came to know about Little Walter and, you know, how you came to pick out the 89 as your amp of choice.
Well, being out on the road, we come across a lot of guitar players, a lot of steel players, and I would see that amp pop up just in different places. And I remember I was back home, it must have been probably 2 years ago. I was back home and I ended up playing this show with a friend of mine named Brett Harris, and the headlining band had a buddy of mine named Alan Love playing pedal steel. Awesome. And he had his Little Walter with him on stage, and he was kind enough to let me sit in and play it for that show. And I mean, I loved the tone of it that night. It was the 50 watt series. I think it was the Twin 50, I think, is what he had. And I loved it. And one of the guitar players in American Aquarium was actually out in the audience. And after the show, he came up to me afterwards and was like, "Dude, that thing cut so well. It sounded so good," you know. And to get that feedback from him too, I knew I was kind of set down on that path.
Right.
And then to find out that Phil was just like an hour away.
Yeah, you're in your backyard.
Yeah, he was right in my backyard.
Yeah.
Seeing his amps all over the place, all around the country, and finding out he's right there.
Yeah.
And then a buddy of ours, about a year later, named Matt Anthony, from Sound Pure, he sent us an email wanting to connect us together. They thought we would be a good fit. The band would be a good fit for Phil.
Definitely.
And so I got in contact with Phil, and we started a little relationship, and went over to his place a few times, tried out some amps, and I was actually set on the VG50 when I first went over there.
Yes.
I have the 89 here with me now.
Yes.
And he hadn't built this yet. So I placed an order for the 50, and 2 weeks later, I believe he had the first model for this, and he called me and was like, "Hey, come over and hang out. I just want you to come hang for a little bit." And so I showed up, and he had this amp out. I plugged into it and just fell in love with it. And what's funny is that I have it here on the top bright channel. There's two channels on this.
Yes, normal and bright.
He had me plugged into the bright, and I've honestly never liked a bright channel on an amp in my life.
Yeah,
this is the first time. This amp is just it's so rich, and just like rich and dark, and also very clear. That the bright channel just works really well for my steel, and my Fessin and D10's a pretty dark steel, as they come with the George L's I got in it.
This one's the 6L6 80 watt.
Yes.
And
12 AX7s in there as well.
Yes, correct. And this is what he calls the 9 series. He has the 8 series, which has the octal tubes in it, and this is the 9 series, the 9 pin. And we've got normal and bright channels there. And have you tried jumpering them together just to see what you get?
You know what? I've been toying with the thought of that. I haven't gotten to that yet. You know, I it's like as soon as I plugged in and liked it, I was settled on just running through the bright channel for now. I run a keyboard every once in a while through the normal, and my lap steel I'll do through the normal from time to time. For right now, I've just been sold on the bright channel, and when I got it, I've had it for about 3 months now, and we've played probably 2/4 of that time on the road. So this has gotten a lot of road testing.
Yeah,
and it's a tank. But I've been tweaking it just over time. Like every night, I would try out different settings and stuff, and I settled just randomly on just about every knob. The treble, mid, and bass is all at 11 o'clock, so this amp goes to 11 technically. And
love it.
And the presence, you know, I adjust that according to the room. So some nights, like it's kind of like a bright room, so I bring the presence back. If it's a little woofy, I bring that up here. But for right now, I've settled on this. You know, I mean, tone not only depends on, you know, the steel you're using, you know, cables, pedals, but you know, also just your hands. You know, just. And so for me, this just ends up working really well.
A lot of people will say, well, on an amp like this, and you might use the word boutique, and you're afraid to go out and tour with them, but these are not actually that way. You can go out and workhorse and use these out on the road without any issues.
Yeah, I was a little weary at first because it looks so nice, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you know, this would be a great studio amp, and after talking to Phil, and he's got a lot of players that take them out.
Yes.
You know, I just got the road cases, and they've been held up great ever since. You know, and I chose this color scheme because it's very similar to this belt that I got from my grandfather. Awesome. Before he passed, like a year before, and it just so happens that right when I placed the order on this amp, the belt broke.
Oh.
So I decided to kind of like carry on the life with it and use this kind of color scheme for that.
I like it. I like it a lot. So speaker-wise, let's talk about speakers.
Yeah, I got two Eminence in there. I got the Travis Toy Signature, the pretty new Travis Toy speaker, and I've got a Delta
called
Pro.
The Double T.
The Double T, yes. Yeah, and that's on this side, and then I've been micing that most nights.
Okay.
And then
Great
the Delta Pro is on this side.
Okay, so you got a Delta Pro and a Double T mixture.
Yeah. This one, this is a bit brighter. This one's a little bit darker. You know, a little muddier in a good way.
Yeah.
You know,
so you get a
kind
nice
of a blues
blend.
way. Yeah.
And you said you use it for steel, but you also said you use it for lap steel some?
Yeah. Before I had this, I was playing both steel and lap through the same amp, so I decided to try it out. And I had this Asher with me on the road.
It's a nice piece.
It's Electro Hawaiian.
Wow.
The built by Bill Asher out of LA, and the premise of it is to create an electric version of a Weissenborn.
Gotcha.
So it's chambered on the inside. It's really resonant, and it translates really well into this because of the clarity. You know, this amp just it's so transparent. Like as an aside, like when I plugged into it with my steel for the first time, I was like, holy crap, I got to start practicing more because it doesn't hide anything.
Right.
A lot of amps I've played before, it's like you can get away with a few little things. With this one, you really can't. But yeah, I've been playing the lap steel through this and just using a Zodic RC booster, just a clean boost.
Right.
And with this, and yeah, it sounds great. I like it a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's that?
Well, my friend, it's been an absolute honor to be here with you today and
Likewise,
to
man.
go over the little Walter 89. And please check us out on the web at littlewalter2bamps.com and look for us on our YouTube channel. I'm Eric Self, signing off.
Cause when the wolves are hungry, the wolves will eat. How to switch these wolves with their claws at me. Now when the wolves are hungry, the wolves will eat. How to switch these wolves and get their claws out of me.